This is Luke Vargas, bringing you another day of convention coverage here from the Talk Radio News Service Skybox in Tampa. Yesterday, a few levels below me here in the arena, some fascinating convention politics unfolded, testing the power of the Republican Party over some dissenting voices within their ranks. Conventions may have become made-for-TV political theater, but a few remnants of parliamentary procedure still remain. And it was during the preliminary stages of the roll call yesterday when things started to get interesting. As a vocal contingent of Ron Paul supporters, many of them duly elected delegates who lost their voting status when Ron Paul began to take the lead in states like Maine, attempted to make their voices heard. When the motion to proceed to a roll call of delegates was brought up by the chair, a not-so-quiet group of Ron Paul supporters, as well as some sympathetic Rick Santorum delegates, voiced their disapproval.
Those opposed, no. And they're thinking the chair is united.
Nonetheless, the chair deemed the motion to have passed. So, delegates and guests from the state of Maine took the opportunity to march out of the convention, with the press following close behind. The story of Maine is a complicated one that highlights the extent to which conventions have become mere coronations of the party's pre-selected candidate. Even though Mitt Romney narrowly won Maine's caucus, Ron Paul supporters were able to capture 21 of the state's 24 delegates. But RNC officials used a rule change to strong-arm the delegation, squeezing out Ron Paul delegates in order to prevent an awkward rebuttal of Mitt Romney here in Tampa.
If this is what Mitt Romney wants for the Republican Party, he got it! He got it today!
Andy Stinson was an elected delegate from the state, receiving 1,200 votes at the state's nominating convention.
The RNC parliamentarian who was sent at that convention gave us a 9 out of 10 rating for the conducting of the convention. There was nothing disorderly that took place in the convention, and yet when it goes to the Committee on Contests, 9 people from all over the country, they ended up splitting the delegation. And so those 9 people disenfranchised the Republicans of Maine and failed to have their vote represented.
Many elected delegates were allowed to come to the convention, but their voting rights were stripped and they were merely given guest passes. Even though many Paul delegates here in Tampa said they'd spent months studying party rules so as to maximize their potential impact, I asked Stinson if he knew the party would try to thwart these efforts.
I think we all understood it was a long shot, but we also understood that, when the time comes, let us not be said that we did nothing. That we sought to show up here to have our voices represented, and that if we'd have just stayed home and said, "Oh well, we didn't get to go, oh shucky darns," I mean, we would have quit long ago. We would have quit long ago if that kind of obstacles and that kind of opposition was what was really going to stand in our way.
When it came time for the Maine roll call, everything proceeded as planned by party officials.
As a proud member of the Maine legislature, I'm excited to say for the first time in 48 years that Maine has a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a Republican governor. With that, I'm proud to cast 14 votes for Mitt Romney and 10 votes for Ron Paul.
With saddened delegates gathering outside the arena, Jesse Benton, the chairman of Ron Paul's presidential campaign, stopped by to offer his support. Having successfully brushed aside the efforts of Ron Paul's supporters to thwart Romney's nomination, the coronation resumes tonight in prime time. This has been Luke Vargas for Talk Radio News Service, bringing you continuing coverage of the RNC here on Free Speech TV.